Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you could join me. Welcome to Empower Fantastic Life. Find your power, live without limits. So let's kick things off with a question that might feel a little too real. You ever get to the end of your workday, you kind of collapse on the sofa, and you just feel like the only thing you have energy for is recovering? It's the cycle, right? Work, eat, sleep, and then do it all over again. It almost feels like our real life is just on pause until the weekend rolls around. You know, that exact feeling leads us straight into a concept from the book The Other 8 Hours, called the Daily Survival Trap. And this is a really powerful idea that completely reframes how we think about our day jobs.
Here's the core of it. For most of us, our 9 to 5 is basically about survival. It's the time we trade to pay the mortgage, to cover the bills, and, let's be honest, to build someone else's dream, our employers. But that time after work, that 5 to 9 window, that's different. That time is where our own future gets built.
Okay, so if the workday is for survival, what about the rest of the day? Well, the author, Robert Pugliarni, he breaks our 24-hour day into 3 simple slices. And when you see it this way, it can be a huge eye-opener.
Think about it. Every single person on this planet gets the same 24 hours. So, the first 8 hours, let's give that to sleep. That's totally non-negotiable for our health. The second block of 8 hours, well, that's our job, our survival time. But then there's this third slice, this huge 8-hour chunk of time that, for many of us, is just a total mystery. Where does it actually go?
And this, right here, is the big aha moment of the book. That third slice, that's what the author calls the golden 8 hours. It's not just some leftover time, it is the single most powerful, untapped asset that we have. It's literally the raw material we can use to build the life we actually want.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The little decisions we make during these golden hours, they compound. And over time, they will define everything, from our bank account to our sense of happiness. So that begs the question, what are we really doing with all this precious time?
Well, before we can start investing this time, we have to find it first. And that means we need to face the things that are secretly stealing it from us. It's time to go hunting for what the book calls time vampires. Here's a perfect way to visualize this. Imagine your golden 8 hours are a bucket full of water. Time vampires are like these tiny, almost invisible holes in the bottom of that bucket. They're the things that seem harmless in the moment, but they just slowly leak your most valuable resources, your time and your energy, leaving you with nothing to show for it in the end.
And believe me, these vampires are masters of disguise. It's that 1 hour of scrolling on social media that somehow turns into 3. It's the TV binge watch that leaves you feeling kind of groggy instead of refreshed. It can even be the time you spend with people who only complain, leaving you feeling totally drained. They all promise a little bit of relaxation, but what they really deliver is depletion.
So, how do we start plugging these leaks? The first step is actually pretty simple. Conduct a time audit. For just 1 week, be brutally honest and just track where every single one of those golden hours is going. It's exactly like making a budget for your money, but you're doing it with your time. The results might shock you a little, but seeing the truth is the very first step to getting back in control.
Now, once you've started to reclaim some of that lost time, the next piece of the puzzle is a huge mental shift. It's all about choosing which role you're going to play during your golden hours. Are you going to be a consumer or a creator?
Let's break this down. Over on one side, you've got the consumer. After work, the consumer is all about comfort. They watch, they scroll, they buy things. They're spending their time, energy, and money to get a temporary hit of pleasure. But on the other side, you've got the creator. The creator isn't looking for comfort. They're looking for growth. They use their evening to read, to learn a new skill, to build a business plan. They're investing their resources to build assets for the future. You know, it's like the difference between buying and eating one apple versus planting a seed that grows into a tree that gives you apples for years to come.
In this creator mindset, it's not just about being busy for the sake of it. It's about being intentional. It's about using those golden 8 hours to actively design and build what the author calls your perfect 10 life. Now, a perfect 10 life isn't just about being a millionaire. Not at all. It's a balanced, whole life vision. What would a perfect 10 look like for your health? What about for your relationships, your career, your financial security, your golden hours? That's the workshop where you get to build that life, one piece at a time.
So how do we actually do this? Well, the book lays out a really practical roadmap. First, self-investment. This has the highest return, hands down. Learning a new skill, reading books in your field, even just exercising. Second, you could start a side hustle, turning a hobby you love, like photography or writing, into a new stream of income. And third, kind of the ultimate goal, is building a system. This is where you create assets that start working for you, like an online course or an investment portfolio, so you're no longer just trading your time for money.
When you really boil it down, the whole philosophy of the other 8 hours is so much bigger than just a few productivity hacks. This isn't about trying to squeeze more tasks into your day. It's about fundamentally redesigning your life by taking control of the one block of time that is 100% yours. This isn't time management, it's life management.
And that brings us to our final thought for today. Don't try to change your entire life overnight. That's a recipe for burnout. Instead, just ask yourself this one simple question. What is one small creator act that you can commit to for just 30 minutes tonight? Maybe it's reading one chapter of a book, or drafting a single paragraph for that business idea you have. Or maybe it's just watching one tutorial for a skill you've always wanted to learn. That's where it all begins. You've been listening to Empower Fantastic Life, Jaeger Empowerment Academy. See you next time. Bye-bye.